couple of years down the road, you are thinking to yourself, man, if it wasn't so hot out, this would be like the perfect day.
It's a hot day.
It's a hot day in Los Angeles. It's been kind of hot lately. Uh
Yeah.
you yeah,
Like
so
out of the ordinary hot.
out of the ordinary hot, yeah. For about 2 months. Um you first noticed it. You came back to Texas. You were headlining a comedy club in San Antonio.
Yeah. What club?
Uh, it's called That Shit's Funny Comedy Club and Restaurant.
And
So
restaurant.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What kind of food do they serve?
They serve. There's like a Vietnamese restaurant attached to That Shit's Funny Comedy Club, and so it's Vietnamese food and jokes. They go hand in hand. We
That
go
shit's funny.
we
Why do
go
they name it that?
together like bam ba 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 doo ram ding dong. That's like a commercial they put out. They put out a commercial for this when it first opened, where
Yeah.
there's a it's like a cartoon where there's like a dude, and he's sitting down, and he's eating some Vietnamese food, you know?
It's like having like a banh mi or something.
It's a cartoon banh mi that would make a man salivate. It looks
So
very
there's a real man eating a cartoon banh mi.
No, it's all cartoon,
Oh,
but
okay, gotcha.
it's drawn in such a realistic and vivid way, like the colors pop off of this banh mi.
Okay.
And then it looks up, like the guy looks up from the food, and he sees like it's all a cartoon. He sees a chicken cross the road, and he goes, "Huh,
And he starts
that's
shredding.
yeah." And then music starts playing, and then it shows like clips of like comedians on stage. It shows people laughing. It shows them slurping up some fucking Vietnamese food as they're watching. So you're going down. You headline it. Goes pretty well. You know, um, it was they let you pick your opening act.
Yeah.
So you flew in Danny Goodwin.
I mean, I love Danny. He's been like pretty unreliable lately. You know, I think
So it was a last minute booking. You booked somebody to open for you, but they had to like cancel at like the last second. So what it is it's
who's
hosted.
canceling on me and putting me in a bind like this? Who is it?
It was this guy that you knew from your days on the road. Uh, his name is Horny Hank,
God
and
damn it.
Horny Hank does this whole like kind of ironic thing where he has like a guitar, and sometimes he like sings stupid songs and stuff like that, and he's like, "Oh, I'm Horny Hank. I'm just an idiot," but he's very good at it, and he needed the scratch, and
So
he
he was
wanted
gonna open for me as like, and I was gonna do that as like a favor for him.
yeah. Back he saved your life one time when you guys were on the road together.
How?
Um, you you were jacking off, and you had
Wait,
like a heart attack. You were in the comedy condo. You thought that he was gone because he was
God
like,
damn it.
because the thing about Horny Hank is that he's very quiet.
Is that the thing about him? That he's quiet? Warning Hank.
So you
I'm
were
not
doing
checking
that.
the condo first before I start jacking off.
You were positive he was gone. You usually like your sense of that is usually pretty good. You're usually kind of aware. Your spatial awareness right before you start JOing is very, very acute. But again, horny Hank is nothing if not quiet as a fucking mouse.
He's notably stealthy.
He's a notably stealthy stand-up comedian. And so
That
you
sucks.
start so you start, and you have you kind of like look up while you're doing it, and there's someone like looking in at the window at you. It just has like the face of a skull, and you're like, oh
What
my
the
God.
fuck?
And you have a heart attack, and he
I'm
hears you. And
jacking
then,
off in front of an open window with another man in the condo?
well, you didn't know the
What
window was
have I
open.
become?
You just,
Why,
you would,
how did I not know? If I'm gonna jack off in a room, I'm gonna check the window, Pat.
right. And you later on, when people ask you about it, because everyone knows what you're doing, when he has to come
What do you
in.
mean by that?
So Hank runs in and he gives you mouth to mouth and actually brings you back to life. And so you kind of owe him a favor. And like, later on when people ask you when you're at the hospital, like, hey, like, how come like after of course they go, hey, everything okay? How you feeling? How you doing? Do you need anything? Also, like, how come you were jacking off with the window open? You're like, you tell them that you could swear you have a memory of closing the windows and actually locking them.
Clearly, I don't.
What?
I said, clearly, I don't.
You can
Because I
kind
just
like
fucking left it open, and the man with a skull mask is just watching me crank, and I have a heart attack.
Yeah, and you know for a fact it was not a mask. So
A man with a skull for a head.
you tell them like, yeah, I don't like I know that I closed the door. I have the memory of doing it. Because every time you have like a thing you do, like just to kind of like help with your memory to remember stuff. Kind of like when you leave for the morning, you'll do a thing where you go, I got my wallet, choo choo. I got my keys, choo choo. I got my socks, choo choo. I'm ready to go, choo choo. And here I go. Here I go. That's how you remember like that you have everything that you need for the day.
Why don't wallet, keys, and socks?
Yeah. And where's my phone at? Why, it's right in the back. And where's my phone at? Yeah, it's in the back. And you like pat, your right cheek and you feel that phone in that back fucking pocket. You
It's
feel
humiliating.
so before you started JOing, you were like, here I go. Here I go. I'm gonna close the window. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm gonna close the window. Otherwise, I'm gonna fucking die. And you remember doing that, and like you try to tell them that, and they're like, "Why do you sing those songs?" And you're like, "It's a memory thing." So it kind of like the conversation gets off track.
Yeah, it sounds like it's off track.
So you're at that shit's funny comedy club and restaurant. Uh Horny Hank is the feature act. Danny Goodwin is the host. Um and then, Horny Hank ends up dropping the gig. He gets like a higher paying gig that night, babysitting for his neighbor. So he's like, sorry man, I need the cash, would love to be there, but hey, consider the debt paid.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do this again. You're gonna fucking cancel on me 30 minutes before the fucking show, and now I got to put Danny Goodwin in there, who's been a liability historically.
He's like,
This sucks.
right before he goes on stage, he turns to you. He's like, hey, dude, I'm gonna try out some new material.
No, Danny. That's why I tell him no.
You hear them
I tell
go,
him no.
they hear him go, your opening comedian, Danny Goodwin. He runs out there. He's like, hey, you see him take out like a piece of paper that just says at the top, it says new untested jokes. And he starts going through them and he's like, and it does not go well. I gotta be honest with you, Aaron.
Why would it
Um,
go well?
One of the thing was he wrote on the way there. He was like, "Hey, hey guys, you ever notice that when you're talking to your chick, sometimes it's like you can't even understand her? Ah, I guess you had to be there. Okay. Well, anyway, what else did I want to talk about? And
Jesus
it,
Christ, Danny.
so he brings you on stage and, you win him back. Even though Danny just absolutely eats shit, you end up having a good show and you sell a bunch of merch.
What do you mean by a bunch?
So you are selling after your show, you sell
Hmm.
t-shirts with your face on it. And
Okay.
they're designed for people to wear in swimming pools. And so
What does that mean?
so they are t-shirts that are like that are specially made for, dudes who wear t-shirts in the swimming pool in public. And so it's designed so that the shirt doesn't stick too closely to the body, like there's enough what you call mercy room,
Oh,
so it
oh.
doesn't get like stuck to them and stuff like that, and you can't see their belly buttons and stuff. It's just stuff that like you were always very conscious of growing up.
You and I
And
have been in several pools together, and
yeah,
I've never been a shirt in the pool guy.
well, not now,
And
no, but
those guys, you know what? If that's your thing, okay, I get it. But I
yeah,
don't know why I am. I mean, I look like a guy who would probably be afraid to like take a shirt off in
right.
public.
And so you're like, oh,
Okay.
I'll sell this merch. And so
This is just
you
a shameful t-shirt. This is a shirt for people who have a lot of shame, which is, yeah, probably my target audience as like an entertainer.
yeah, you call your LLC Shame Industries. So you sell that shirt. It's a shirt with your face on it and it says I fat red underneath it.
Yeah.
We're supposed to say I farted, but you messed up. And so you sell a bunch of those and you do pretty okay financially that weekend, my friend. So you fly back to LA and it's almost like right when you get there is when it starts to get like a little hotter. You know what I mean? And as the days go on, it just kind of gets like hotter and hotter.
Okay.
Almost like you brought the heat back with you.
Well, that sucks.
But beyond that, things are going okay for you. You got this merch that's moving. You've been seeing a girl
Oh man.
for for a few months now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. You met her one night and it has a few months ago, and it has just kind of been on ever since, you know?
Okay.
She's got long blue hair.
Okay.
You ask her if she like, you're like, oh, well, what color dye do you use for that? And she's like, dye.
I'm gonna
And
believe that this is her natural hair color.
she is like covered in freckles. And
Okay.
she's able to like move them.
No, what the fuck, Pat? You
She
can't
has
move a freckle.
she has the ability to like style her freckles in like whatever way. So sometimes when you see her, she has like her freckles like do like a spiral, you know, across her face. Sometimes it's the Fibonacci sequence like runs down her neck. So, but you guys have a lot in common, you know. You guys bond over a shared love of, telling stories, talking about TV shows that you like. You guys kind of initially start to bond over, entertainment stuff, but
Sure.
it's grown to be kind of it's starting to become a deeper relationship,
Okay.
and
What's her name?
she goes by Starlight.
Man,
Starlight Renfield.
I don't think I'm at a point in my life where I'm gonna date a woman named Starlight with blue hair. I'm making like just yeah, I just feel like that's a person that
Yeah.
probably
So
doesn't align.
the thing is that the blue hair and Starlight's freckles and stuff. It's sort of just she's like, oh yeah, it's just kind of normal where I'm from. So
What the fuck does that even mean, Pat? That's not like a normal thing on planet Earth. Is this woman an extraterrestrial?
no. So this is a woman that you see only in your dreams.
Oh, what the fuck?
And you guys, so she's from, a different sort of, dimension, I guess, technically. And so when you go to sleep at night, you kind of like, date this woman. You guys go out on, dream dates. Sometimes you take her to, dream restaurants and stuff. But you remember these dreams. These aren't, you remember every detail of them. It's almost like you are always conscious, when you wake up,
Oh,
your body is still rested, but you have all the memories of hanging out, with Starlight. And I mean all the memories. And so you're kind of in like, a pretty good mood because of that. You've been dating this dream woman. You're doing
not
okay.
dating, Pat. That's you can't say you're dating this woman, but then she only exists in my dreams. That doesn't mean I'm dating her. That means I'm dreaming about her.
She's the girl of your dreams.
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
You
That's
guys
what this
really
is.
you you guys really get along.
Yeah, but she's not real. She's not real, Pat.
So that's the
She's a,
thing is
she lives in a dream in my head when I sleep.
yeah. So at first you kind of were looking at this like, you know, this is kind of cool. I fall asleep and, I have, this strange, dream girl, to talk to and stuff. And at first you kind of just treat it as, oh, this is just some kind of weird, crazy thing like that I'm experiencing. But then after a while, like you guys do begin to fall for one another,
Pat, you're omitting the fact that this is not a real woman. This is not a real
Right.
person.
Yeah.
This is a being that exists only in my brain while I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't call that dating somebody, Pat. That's not how that works. I'm
Yeah,
having
but I mean, you
wet
basic
dreams about this
well,
woman.
look, the way that you look at it is that, if you're even if you actually are dating someone in real life, you how many hours a day do you even get to spend with them? Only a few, you know what I mean? But you get to spend every dream moment with this woman. And so it's like, if she was real, I probably wouldn't even see her as much as I do now. And she's, to be honest with you, she's a real dream.
I will never know her touch, you know? Like
But you feel like you do. You feel it in your dreams. That's the thing. And it makes you feel, makes you feel good. Though
this is painful how desperate I feel I am in this scenario.
what I'm saying is that it's a pretty hot day. And so
God
uh
damn it.
you pull up to your new business. This is a few years down the road. You are the owner and main bartender at a bar that you own.
I don't want to
Uh,
be a fucking bartender, Pat. I just don't. I'm sorry.
You got the idea because you were watching the movie Cocktails and you saw Tom Cruise like doing all those like crazy things, and you thought to yourself like, "Oh man, I could never do something like that." And then that night that you fell asleep was the first night that you met Starlight. And you brought up the fact that like, "Oh, you know, I could never do all those cool moves that Tom Cruise does." And she was like, "Oh, I love that movie." And she's like, "Aaron, I if you put your mind to it, honestly, I think you could shake planets." And when you wake up from that day onward, you're like, "I'm going to fucking do this. I am going to be a bartender who does crazy ass bar tricks." And you sat down and you studied. You studied the greats. You were able to. So there's like several legends in terms of like performative bartending, where and they put up, the thing is that they're very willing to pass on their knowledge to the next generation of bartender. And so there's a lot of like grainy videos of them from like there's like people from down the ages. There's
Yeah.
people, you see photographs of a bartender from the 1920s. He's wearing like a suit and fucking tie. He's in a bar and it's just like all dudes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he has like a bottle of a whiskey that he is like spinning on his finger, and
Yeah.
he has it set up so that there's a bunch of holes around the neck so it spits whiskey out onto the crowd, that and they all have their mouths open, and and underneath it it says Chesty Von Jones. Chesty's in quotes. Chesty was like the top performative bartender of the 1920s. And they called him Chesty because this guy was fucking jacked. Like, it's the suit that he wears is like, it's enormous, dude. You could use it as a blanket if you really wanted to. There's and like they honor, the all of these guys from back in the day. Like they have a copy of a picture that was found with the Dead Sea Scrolls, where it's in like hieroglyphs, where there's like
Yeah.
a guy, he's wearing like one of those like pharaoh things, what I'm talking about,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's like flipping like a thing of like like honey wine in the air, and like there's a bunch of people around him like, holy shit, like they're super impressed.
Yeah.
So it's been going on for a lot longer than people think. And you had no idea. Once you started to learn about this, like you found out that like Houdini got his start as one of these guys. Like
Okay.
they claim a surprising and eclectic group of people. Babe Ruth,
What? Babe Ruth was a performative bartender?
after he retired from baseball, yeah, he was just like he just opened his own bar.
All
He
right.
sold he sold the candy bar Baby Ruth out of it.
Good for him.
So,
Moving on after sports.
yep. So you go to the bar that you own, ready for your fucking day at work, and you look forward to it because it's like you're putting on a show and you're putting your own spin. You call it a new school spin on an old school favorite, and you will say that to anyone who will listen.
Sucks.
That's like your whole like routine and stuff. You make it a little modern. You make it a little meta. Breaking down the fourth wall, and you get there.
What the
It
performative bartending community is just clamoring for. Please tear down the fourth wall with us. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, some people do it. It's not like you're the first person to do it, but you put your own unique spin on it, like I said. Um, so one of the things that you've been doing lately, it's so hot out that you're actually like You start selling cookies that like you just like bake outside. You just let the sun go to it. You call them you call them outside cookies. And
God damn it. They're
there's
just
some,
cooking on the sidewalk.
yeah. I mean, you have like a plate out there that they're cooking on top of. It's not like on
There's like
the.
an oven type thing that I make out of, but I use the power of the sun to
It's
heat
hit.
it.
Yeah, the cookies are hit directly by, and you think to yourself, by the starlight. Then you kind of shake your head. It's by the sunshine. The sun's rays directly hit these cookies. And there's something about the sun's rays, something about the cosmic energy of the universe, maybe, that make these cookies taste extra good.
All
So
right. I love a
these
sun
are
baked cookie.
a sun-baked cookie, and as you walk in, there's already people who are in line ready to buy it, and you think to yourself, huh, these cookies are selling like hotcakes. You laugh to yourself.
So fucking dumb. So fucking dumb.
You walk in, and one of your employees, he's a cook there, uh, Randy Trust, Chef Randy Trust. He's like, oh, hey, boss, how you doing? What do you say?
Say I'm good. Randy Trust, how are you?
He goes, I'm doing great. Girls are doing great. Yeah, things are going okay. You
Good to
got some.
hear.
He goes, awesome. He goes, yeah, you got some people waiting for you in your office.
Thanks, Randy. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
Say hi to the girls for me.
Absolutely. His is to you're the godfather to both of his daughters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you guys have like a very close relationship.
Yeah, I bet.
And it's the kind of closeness that like it's not like you see each other and you go like, oh my god. It's just like a familial
Yeah,
closeness
yeah, yeah.
with Randy Trust.
Chef Randy Trust.
So you walk into your office, and standing there are five men, and you kind of are like thrown for a loop because you're like, oh, this is so odd. Like,
Who are
kind
these
of.
men?
So one of them steps forward and he goes, "Hello, Aaron." And like, it's hard for you to actually see what they look like. It's almost like they're like indescribable beams of light. And then you kind of like squint, and one of them says, "We wish you an early Merry Christmas."
Oh no.
And you kind of blink, and standing in front of you are now these five, corporal beings, five men. Santa Claus,
Yeah,
Chris Kringle, jolly old Saint Nick, Father Christmas,
yeah,
and Black Santa. Black Santa looks and talks just like Mr. T from the 80s. So they're all dressed like Santa in various ways.
yeah.
However, his has like cut off sleeves,
Sure.
and he has like gold chains and stuff like that. Mohawk.
Yeah. It's Mr. T.
Yes, I mean that's what it looks like and sounds like.
Yeah.
He goes, "You better listen, fool." Father Christmas steps forward and he goes, "Hello, Aaron. We are the Lords of Christmas, aka the Christmas Corps." And he goes, "I know this is probably a little alarming to you."
Yeah.
He goes, "But if you give us just 2 minutes of your time, we will be out of your hair."
What do you want?
Jolly old Saint Nick steps forward. He's just like this big, he's like the version of Santa that's like just a classic big fat Santa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
It's got like a really like red nose.
yeah.
And as he steps forward, you kind of smell like what you instantly know is Jim Beam. And you kind of think to yourself, like, oh, that's how he's so jolly all the time.
He's got rosacea.
He goes, Aaron, for reasons that are very complex, Christmas is coming early this year. He goes, we have to stop it.
I don't give a fuck about Christmas. Where were you guys when I was a child? And my family was so poor that we couldn't afford toys. Where were you guys then?
Yeah,
Where were you when we were the fucking names on the tree at Walmart, having awful holiday after awful holiday? Fuck you. I don't want to help you.
they all like all of them kind of like look up as you start like saying that, and they all like a few of them like pretend to like whistle and stuff as you're saying it. They're all like kind of embarrassed. Um, Santa Claus steps forward and he goes, Aaron, on behalf of the Lords of Christmas, they all get down on one knee in front of you. They go, we apologize for Christmas.
You got to go apologize to my brother and my sister, and especially my mom. It's not just me; it's the whole family.
Yeah. They go, they all like nod. They're like, the Black Santa's like, definitely, sucker. Sounds just like Mr. T.
I
So,
wonder why.
so they go on to tell you that they basically explain it as there's an event happening right now, and they keep calling it like behind the scenes. Like that's the best way we can approximate this. There's a conflict happening behind the scenes. It's called the Calendar Wars, and what's happening is essentially the months of the year or the seasons of the year are in opposition to one another. And as a result, certain things are starting to get affected. And the first thing that's like the first real case, like all the stuff leading up to this has been fairly minor things, you know. However, now it's going to cause Christmas to come early, and that cannot happen.
Why?
They kind of like all look worried and like look at each other. Santa Claus steps forward. He's like, this is a Santa Claus that you think of when you see like a mall Santa. You know what I mean? A
Okay. Yeah.
classic mall Santa. He's like all in of like all of time will be completely eroded. This will essentially be the we will like this event will cause the drain that will suck all of time into. He's like, also, nobody's prepared. Like, it's gonna be Christmas morning and like nobody's gonna have presents.
It sounds like if this is a pretty serious thing that you should get somebody who is able to help you. I don't. Certainly not the savior of all of time.
Father Christmas, like his eyes like flash blue, a very calming blue. And he goes, Aaron, you can do this. You can
What
help
do you want
us
me to do? What do you
because
What do you
you,
need?
they go, he goes, you're pure of heart, Aaron.
I fucking
And
hate Christmas. What do you want?
they go, the only way, like, we're not allowed to directly interfere in this. Technically, we're like free agents in this war, you know? We don't really pick a side. We're just here for Christmas, you know? And they go, there is this certain, they call it like a cosmic clock that you have to recover for them. It's on sale at a clock store in downtown Los Angeles. They're
Yeah,
not they're not allowed to go get it themselves, but they can like
I have to go
send people.
buy a clock.
Yeah, and they go in
I'm
return. They look at you and
sorry.
they go, here's what we'll do for you. if you go get this clock for us, if you give us the clock, the cosmic clock in the name of Christmas, we'll make Starlight real. What do you do? They go, all you have to do is put that on your Christmas wish list, and we will make it happen this Christmas.
I think I would have to ask Starlight,
Yeah.
do you want to be real?
So you go home, you just like you chug an entire bottle of NyQuil and you like
Yeah.
you fall asleep. And you talk to Starlight. You guys go on a date. You go to the Dream Mall where they have like a food court that has like stuff that you never would have thought to include in the same, area. So there's a place that only serves chicken wings. There's French cuisine.
At this mall food court.
Yeah. There's also like a barbecue place. Like there's anything you want. All you have to do is kind of visualize it and it's added to the dream mall that you find yourself in. So you guys hang out in the food court and you discuss it and she like looks at you and she's like, all right, so she kind of explains how things would work. She's like, yeah, I've heard of this happening. I've heard of people of dreams being made real in exchange for like, you know, certain things. So, like Hercules doing his 12, feats of strength or whatever. People who do things like that, people who get tested, who go on great journeys, they're able to bring their dreams into the real world. And she's like, yeah, I've heard of it happening. She's like, so she's like, if you made, she goes, Aaron, the dream world is the only world that I've ever known, but
Yeah.
I'm willing to create a new world with you. She's like, I would love to be made real. I'd love to, meet your mom, your friends. I'd love to walk under the shade of the goddamn trees.
Yeah.
And you look at her and you just go, you go, message received.
So no.
And then you like wake up and you're like, what the fuck? You kind of feel like an idiot, but you're like, whatever.
Yeah. Message received.
Yeah. So you wake up and the Christmas core, like, standing in your room. And Father Christmas, he's like an old man version of Santa, but almost when it was more like pagan. He looks like a pagan Santa Claus.
Yeah.
He's got a long staff with like a club at the end of it. He's got like green and red like tattered clothing that looks like a cloak, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he is it's like almost 7 feet tall.
Great.
Stoops over a little bit. He goes, Aaron, will you save Christmas? And
I just
they
gotta
all
go buy a fucking clock and bring it back to you. That's all I have to do.
are like, yeah,
Yeah, then I'll go get your goddamn clock. And I'm doing it not for any Christmas related shit.
yeah,
I'm doing it to prevent the dissolution of time and space.
yeah.
And I make sure they know that this is like not for Christmas,
They
but it's
go,
for humanity.
they all like nod deeply and they go like, Aaron, Father Christmas says, like, we can't really blame you for holding a grudge, and we deeply appreciate you helping us, no matter for what the reason.
I go.
You hear him go
I'll
like,
buy your goddamn clock and I'll bring it back.
"Thank you, fool." As you turn away, he goes, "Aaron." You kind of like turn. He tosses you one of his fucking gold chains. It lands like perfectly around your neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lands and it like it goes around like, your neck, and it kind of like coils down your fucking body in slow motion, almost like a sensuous snake, you know?
I'm not a chain guy. I've never been a chain guy. I've never wanted anything to do with that. It's not me. I'm not a
Yeah.
chain guy.
The chain like continues to swing and then like swings off of you. It lands back on his. He's like, he's like, okay. You're like, all right. And so
Yeah, thank
you
you.
leave.
I mean, that's very kind. He's gonna get more use out of that chain than I ever will.
He goes, I understand, fool. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mr. T. I mean Black Santa.
The door closes. You go downtown. You're going to this clock shop.
Yeah.
It's called seconds in minutes. Seconds
Ooh.
apostrophe
Oh,
n
N.
apostrophe minutes.
I thought you meant seconds with like within.
No,
Okay.
seconds and
Seconds and
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah,
Okay. That still sucks.
it's a clock shop. It's ran, and you walk in, and like the owner's standing there, and he looks at you, and he sticks out his hand. He goes, "Hi, I'm the owner. My name is Mister Time." He sticks
Mr.
out
Time?
he sticks
Oh,
out his
come
hand.
on.
Do you shake his hand?
I don't want to. I really don't want to. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You shake his hand. Nothing happens. So he's like, "Oh, what can I do you for?" And like you have like a drawing that the
Cosmic clock.
yeah, the Christmas score have, and he like squints at it, and he's like, and he like looks up, and he goes, "That's hmm." He goes, "Yeah, I have that. That's gonna be an expensive one."
How much?
He goes, um, $90.
Like, okay, great. I'll take that off your hand for 90 bucks.
And he's like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah, that's the one that I want. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
You hand him some cash, and you kind of hear him go like "sucker" under like his breath, gives you back the
I go,
change.
what'd you say?
He said, he goes,
You called me
"Oh,"
a sucker because I'm buying this for $90? This is for someone else. I'm trying to help a small fucking business here.
and he goes, "No, I know. I said, have
You said
fun,
sucker.
have fun, motherfucker."
No, you
Like he's
didn't,
like
you son of a
sweating.
bitch. You called me a sucker. Why am I a sucker for buying this thing?
There's a guy behind you in line. He's like, "Hey, come on, hurry up."
Oh yeah,
So
I'm sure this fucking clock store is just packed with customers.
yeah,
Fucking kidding me.
clocks are like back in vogue. People are like they want to be free of their digital, their digital clocks
Yeah.
that they have on phones. People are trying to do less and less of that. So people are finding, and there are people that swear that like if you have that, they experience time better and more usefully when they have actual clocks. There's people who claim that grandfather clocks, cat clocks, where the eyes go back and forth and the tail and shit. People like obviously it's a scam. There's just people who grift on that. It's like people who try to push like vitamins or shit like, you know what I mean? That's obviously not real. So like it's,
Vitamins are definitely not real.
well, you know what I mean. But
It's 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in the clock shop looking to buy.
so yeah, my point is that there is like a substantial line at the clock shop. So you leave and you look down and the clock, you know, it's just looks like a regular clock, it doesn't seem to be of any, special significance or anything like that.
Yeah.
You bring it back to your apartment. The Lords of Christmas, like they all look up when you walk in and they're like, "Oh my god, he did it." Father Christmas sticks out his like long bony hand. His arm is significantly longer than you thought it was going to be. He's like, "Thank you so much, Aaron. You've saved Christmas." Do you give it to him?
Yeah. I mean, it's a fucking clock. It's a clock. I give him the clock and I say, Starlight is waiting.
He raises the clock in the air and he goes, "Lords of Christmas, ho!" And they all yell, "Ho!" And like they disappear in like a puff of peppermint. And then you hear like the voice of Starlight say like, "I'll see you on Christmas morning, morning, morning." You wake up, and even though it's Christmas is still a few months away, you know that Starlight will become real then. You get out of bed, you open the front door, and there's a man standing there, just like a regular looking dude, and he goes, Aaron Brooks?"
I would say yes.
He goes, he hands you like a piece of paper, and he goes, "And you just got served." And he like break dances in front of you for like, a solid 15 seconds. And then he like stops, then he just walks away. And you look down and you're being sued. The t-shirts that you sold that were like, especially designed for people in pools. It turns out that when you had them made, you went with like a really, really cheap company that didn't have a lot of really good reviews, but they were very cost effective. And the shirts actually cause like people to like, get pulled underneath the water.
Are you
So
fucking serious?
so like 99 people drown because of these shirts,
Jesus
and
Christ.
and you get sued. You're found
Whatever.
you're guilty
I just, I
of
didn't make them.
you're thrown in jail. The lawyer that you hired is this guy Jackson Renegade, the attorney who fucks, and he drops the ball in this case.
Great.
He had a lot going on in his personal life, so
Yeah. Fuck
you end up
him.
going to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a December 20th. Your first night in jail, December 21st. You're beaten to death by a bunch of
Great.
inmates
Great. Why? Why?
because of all the people that you killed.
Dude,
They were not happy.
I didn't do anything. So I'm beaten to death on the
Yeah,
December 21st.
and
Great.
they were chanting "wet devil, wet devil." That's what they all call you
The wet
because
devil.
yeah, because of all the the wet
Yeah, I get it,
crimes,
Pat. We know why.
the wet death.
Fuck you.
So you die.